Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're trying to cut through some of the noise around tariffs.
Right. It's a topic you hear a lot about.
Exactly. And we're looking at an article from globaltradenews.us. It's called Who Really Pays Tariffs?
A very direct title.
It is. So, you hear about tariffs in the news constantly, but we really want to unpack how they actually work. Who feels the impact?
Yeah, our goal here is to get a clearer picture beyond the headlines of who ends up, well, footing the bill.
Okay, so let's jump in. The common idea, maybe the intuition, is that the exporting country pays the tariff, right?
That's what you often hear. But this article argues pretty strongly that, well, that's not quite the whole story. It's actually more complicated.
Okay, how so? The article says the first hit isn't the exporter.
No, it says the tariff is actually levied directly on the importers, the domestic companies bringing the goods into the country.
Ah, okay. So like if a US company imports electronics from, say, Asia, that US company pays the tariff fee to US customs when the goods arrive.
Precisely. That's the legal point of payment. The check gets written by the home team, so to speak.
Got it. So the importer pays. But what happens then? They don't just eat that cost, do they?
Well, that's the next big question, isn't it? They could absorb it, just take the hit on their profit margins.
Sure, but that's probably not sustainable, especially if the tariff is high or lasts a long time.
Right, it squeezes their business. So the article points out other options. The most likely one, passing that cost along.
Along to who? Us, the consumers.
Often, yes. That's a major pathway. The importer raises the price of the goods they sell to cover the tariff cost. So that imported product on the shelf just got more expensive.
So that coffee, those clothes, electronics, whatever it is, we might end up paying more because of a tariff levied way back at the port.
Exactly. The article suggests consumers frequently bear a significant chunk of the tariff cost. Sometimes maybe even all of it, depending on the product.
It also mentions negotiating with suppliers, right? Trying to get the foreign manufacturer to lower their price.
Yes, that's another possibility. The importer might say, look, I have this new tariff cost. Can you give me a better price to help offset it? Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the leverage.
Okay, so it's a mix. Absorb, pass to consumers, or push back on suppliers.
Correct. And the reality is often some combination of those.
Now, the article does touch on the intended effect, right? Helping domestic producers.
Uh-huh. The idea is that making imports more expensive makes locally produced goods seem cheaper by comparison. So theoretically, demand shifts to domestic companies.
Which could be good for, say, a local furniture maker if there's a tariff on imported furniture.
Potentially, yes. But there's a flip side, retaliation.
Ah, right. If we put tariffs on goods from country X might put tariffs on our exports.
Exactly. So that same domestic furniture maker might suddenly find it harder or more expensive to sell their products overseas. It can become a trade, tit for tat, which complicates the picture for everyone.
So it's definitely not simple. The article stresses that, doesn't it? It's not just exporter pays or importer pays.
Not at all. It really emphasizes the complexity. Things like how sensitive consumers are to price changes, what economists call elasticity, play a huge role.
Meaning, if we absolutely have to have that imported product and are willing to pay more, we, the consumers, absorb more of the tariff costs.
You've got it. If demand is inelastic, the cost gets passed on more easily. If we readily switch to alternatives when prices rise, then maybe the importer or the supplier has to absorb more. Market competition matters too.
So many factors. It's a real ripple effect through the economy.
It truly is, not a straightforward calculation.
Okay, so let's try to summarize the main takeaway from this deep dive based on the globaltradenews.us piece.
I think the core point is tariffs are officially paid by domestic importers, but that cost rarely stays put.
Right. It tends to spread out, and very often a large part of it lands on domestic consumers through higher prices for goods.
Which impacts household budgets and the wider economy
Right.
in ways that aren't always immediately obvious from the headlines.
So here's something to think about next time you hear tariffs being discussed.
Yeah, consider who might really be paying.
Yeah.
Look beyond the political sound bites and think about those unseen economic pressures. Where does that cost ultimately ripple out to in your daily life or in the broader market? What are those hidden impacts?
A lot to chew on there. Thanks for diving up with us today.